What's going on, everyone? Austin John Plays here, and today I'm going to be going over how you're going to be able to farm shock fruit, fire fruit, ice fruit, and bomb fruit for elemental arrows in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This trick is going to work with these 4 elemental fruits. By the way, I know that bomb is not an element, but I'm just going to group it with the other 3 and just call them all elemental fruits for elemental arrows. And this trick is very simple. All you need is Majora's Mask, or I think you can do this with a Bokoblin mask. And if you didn't know, when you come across Bokoblins that are having their little backpack baskets, you're actually able to steal items from them. I'm going to throw out Dazzle Fruit. That's going to distract him, and as you can see, I just come over here and take things out of his backpack. We are going to take advantage of that for them being distracted, not realizing that we're a baddie, and then we're just going to take all their stuff. Sounds cool, right? And as you can see from the screen that I'm on right now, it's been pretty effective. So far, I farmed ice fruit and I farmed bomb flowers. And you're going to be able to do this at a rate of about 24 elemental fruit per minute, and you're going to be able to do this AFK, which if you're unfamiliar means away from keyboard. You don't need to actually do anything if you have a turbo controller. First thing I did is look at every single Bokoblin in the entire game who's wearing a backpack. I took all of their information and I extrapolated from them exactly what item is going to be in that backpack to see exactly what's going to be there. There's going to be a number of items that you are not going to be able to do this Bokoblin basket farming with, including almost everything that's in their backpacks that they're not considering weapons. Like there are Bokoblin backpacks that hold apples. You're not able to farm from them the wild berries, the 1 hydromelon in the world, the 3 palm fruits, the 4 mighty bananas, the 7 or 8 ice mushrooms, the so many Zonite ones in the depths. That's unfortunate. The raw meat and the raw tier 2 meat. Also, if you didn't know, there's 1 Bokoblin in the entire world who holds luminous ore in his backpack. That's pretty neat. This method is only going to be working with things that are in their backpack that they consider to be damaging items. The first thing you have to do is find yourself a Bokoblin with a basket with one of these elemental fruits that you want, like this blue Bokoblin right here. He's located right here on the map. For the record, here is this shrine right next to the Dracozu Lake. There's going to be typically more than 1 enemy. We have 1 Lizalfo down here, and you want to go ahead and put down a hard save, because you are now tasked with making sure that he does not die, but all the other enemies do. Quick little pro tip, make sure you turn your sages off. After all of the other enemies are dealt with and it's just him, you want to go ahead and put down another hard save. If he died or lost his basket or something else, or he lost the fruit from his basket, go ahead and reload your save. That way he's going to be still fresh and new. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the mechanics of how Bokoblin masks, Majora's Mask, and all that works, as long as you don't hurt him, he's not going to be suspicious of you or anything. You could take out your weapon, you could take out your bow, you could take out your shield. He's not going to be too worried about it. Now, unfortunately, this Bokoblin has a bow, and we can't have him have a bow. So we're going to use this opportunity to take out a Dazzle Fruit, throw it at the floor, which is then going to disarm him. After you have your Bokoblin with a basket, with no weapons, this is exactly what you want. If he aggroed on you, that's fine. Drop down a save, reload from that save. Because every time that you reload from a save, all of the enemies who aggro on you are going to be no longer aggressive, and they're going to become passive once again. Now that he doesn't have a bow, he's going to take his fruit outside of his basket and throw it at things as a target. So we're going to need to give him a target. I'm going to take out 1 homing cart and 1 stake. The reason we're doing this is because if this homing cart is on, he will then aggro it and then start attacking it. And we're putting it on a stake for 2 reasons. 1, because we actually don't want the homing cart to move at all. And 2, if the homing cart is on the ground, he may go to melee attack it. That second part is going to be more handy if they're going to be on the same level as opposed to him who's on top of a platform. So now that you have your Bokoblin, you have your cart over here, let's go ahead and turn it on. He's going to aggro on it, blow his horn if he's on an encampment, and he's going to start throwing shock fruit at it. Now, the distance that it's going to be away is very important. You need to make sure that he is not going to be in range of it. And there are some stipulations with some of the other elemental fruits that I'll talk about in a little bit. But because it's raining, we're having a big old orb going on right now. That's the reason I put it so far away from him. Once you're at the point that that's far away and he's throwing fruit at it, Now you have everything set up. So from here, make sure you don't have any metal weapons, shields, or anything else equipped in case it just randomly decides to become a thunderstorm. You won't need any weapons for this. Now that everything is set up, we have to be in a very exact position in order to grab his fruit. If I'm too close to it, you're going to see the take button show up kind of often. You actually need to be far enough away and face him. That way, only when his hand is at the back of his backpack do you have the take button show up. So you see how right now I have the take button as an option while he's not having his hand in his backpack? That's not good. I need to be further away. I'm going to crouch down and then try to find this perfect position, which is going to be right here. Only while his hand is in his backpack do I get the take button and the word shock fruit. And if I go ahead and take it, he's going to be throwing absolutely nothing. And you're going to notice that his backpack still has 5 shock fruit. As long as he has 1 item inside of his basket, he's still going to be trying to throw them. This works on the same mechanic of how enemies with bows are going to be shooting their arrows and how they have an infinite supply. So as long as he has his backpack, you're good. So now if you have a turbo controller like the Hori Split Pad Pro, I'm going to be using my old USB Mayflash fight stick that has turbo on it, or you could be using the $8 piece of software on Windows that allows you to control your Nintendo Switch with a controller through the computer and you could program your own macros. I'm going to now just attach this controller, hold down the A button, and he is going to grab the shock fruit out of his hand, not his basket. And it's important that we put it far enough away, that way he's not going to be distracted, he's not going to walk around, he's not going to choose to melee attack it, he's not going to instead grab a stone to throw it. This is the perfect setup for how you want to do this. I've tested this for like the last 4 hours to find every stipulation that could possibly happen. This is the most consistent. And now, wait a half hour. Exactly a half hour, because if you didn't know, the Zonai homing cart will despawn after 30 minutes of being on and active. How many shock fruit do I have right now? 84. Over here at the Tabantha Hills area, we're going to be finding this area of ruins right about here. And in order to make our way over here, I know there's a shrine over here that I didn't get in this playthrough, so I'm going to be going from this one over here. Now that I've gone over here and made my way to the enemy encampment, by the way, I'm going to be doing this one with the Bokoblin mask, not Majora's mask, just to see if we can do it, you know, at an earlier stage of entry. Since for Majora's mask, you need to make your way to the underground Coliseum. So just like before, first step, go around, take out every enemy that is not the Bokoblin with the basket. From here, all we need to do is put down a save and go ahead and load from our save. How's our shock fruit doing? Still farming. All right, we've loaded back in. We did not defeat Basket Bokoblin. He's over here. He's still chilling. He thinks I'm a friendly. That's good. He doesn't have a bow, so I don't need to do the Dazzle Fruit to disarm him of a bow. He only has a melee weapon. So I'm going to go ahead, take out a homing cart, take out a stake. And because I'm in a cold climate, that means that we're not going to be having a thunderstorm, so I don't need to worry about, you know, taking off metal clothing and weapons and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and put the stake on top of the homing cart and then place it all upside down. Now there's also a condition that he can choose to slowly move back after throwing every single one of these, which is the reason I recommend making it a good distance away. Now from here, all we need to do is get ourselves in a position, which I'm in already, and get to the point that we're just going to be tapping the A button and farming ice fruit. Now, I only have one turbo controller that can be doing this right now, so I'm just going to be continuously tapping the A button mindlessly. How's shock fruit doing? Shock fruit's doing great. This ice fruit, it doesn't have to be this specific one here at Tabantha Hills. It could be, I know that there's a Bokoblin right here on the Byron Snow Shelf, exactly where my cursor is, that there's going to be one. I believe there's one right here by this shrine, by Rospo's Pass, by the Skyview Tower. He's going to be like right here on the ascent somewhere. Any Bokoblin with an ice basket, this is going to work with. And if you're choosing to do the Bokoblin mask instead of Majora's mask, just be careful, because if there's a weird condition that stall enemies are going to be spawning in, if they're stall Bokoblins, you're going to be fine. But if they're stall Moblins or Lizalfos, you may run into issues. If you get to the point that your battery runs out, just go ahead, turn it off. Let your battery charge up. Turn it back on. and he'll go right back to throwing them. Make sure you get yourself back in the correct position, because I'm in the wrong position right now, because I have my take being 2 optional. Shock fruit. Shock fruit's still going.
20 minutes later.
I was away from the keyboard and I came back and they were done. The Zonai homing cart actually despawned. I have 767 shock fruits. That's pretty much right on par with the numbers that I told you we were going to be getting. If you wanted to max this out to 999, all you have to do is take out 1 homing cart, go ahead and attach it upside down to your stake, turn it on, and repeat. He's then gonna blow his horn. You need to find your exact position that you need to be in. And just doing this and watching YouTube videos or whatever, you're fine. I would definitely recommend a turbo controller though. Fire fruit and bomb fruit are gonna be the most difficult to deal with. And fire fruit is very similar to bomb fruit, just easier. So I'm going to just tell you where you can find fire fruit. If you want, there's gonna be fire fruit bokoblins right here, right next to the Berta lookout chasm. So right here on the map, if you want to do in a cold area. This bridge right here, the Monhala Bridge, there's going to be fire fruit bokoblins over here. So many fire fruit bokoblins. They are by far the most common. So there's also going to be one right here underneath this in particular mushroom cap, right next to the Tabantha stable. But when it comes to bomb bokoblins, there's only 2 in the entire game. One is going to be located right here at the East Akala Plains by this chasm. I think it's right about here on the map. And at this location, you're going to be finding 2 bokoblins with bomb flowers. They are on top of a battle talus. There's only 2 more in the entire world located right here. By the way, for reference, here is the outskirts stable and the Great Fairy right here. I have a travel medallion down there, so let's go from there. Oh, on my way, I came across a bokoblin who has apples? Yeah, apples. Can I just ice fruit you in the face? And then, oh, I froze myself. Okay, cool. Now can I just... Cool. You take his apples out of the back. Boom. Perfect use for this. Our second location is also going to be a battle talus, and it looks like we have 3 fire flower and 2 bomb flower here. Now, the most important thing is once you show up, you have to take out the battle talus himself. And it's kind of dangerous because if he decides to buck off any of the bokoblins that you need into the water, then you have to reload. So with a one-shot bow, just doing a very precise attack on his thing, and we are good. Now they're obviously going to be suspicious because you just attacked their house. I'm going to go ahead, drop down a save, and load from my save. And once we spawn back in, all 5 of them are going to be here, and they're not going to be suspicious of you at all. So if you want the fire fruit ones, then keep them around. But me personally, I'm going to be taking out the 3 fire fruit ones, and then I'm going to be taking out 1 of the bomb ones. You can get into an extremely situational position that you can take from both bomb bokoblins, but it's more likely that they're just going to accidentally kill each other. So I'm going to go ahead and disarm all of them with the dazzle fruit. And now there's only 1 bomb fruit one here. I'm also going to toss another dazzle fruit to disarm him. And while he's disarmed, I'm going to go ahead and save the game. Even though he already took damage, even though a whole bunch of things, loading from this save is going to reset a bunch of that information. We spawn in. He does not have his bow. He has all 5 of his bombs, and there are no other enemies here. This is exactly the position you want to be in. From here, the steps are going to be pretty similar. Stake it into the ground, turn it on, and now to avoid him accidentally killing himself and you, we are going to move this further away from him. This location is definitely the easier out of the 2, and I recommend putting that closer onto the sand. The closer it's on the sand, the less grass that can catch on fire. The other location that I showed you in Akala, there's a lot of grass there, so I decided that I was going to be adding a wheel and 2 hydrants on there as well. That way that can go around and constantly put the fires out, which is only necessary during this setup process, because once you're actually in position and you're taking away his bomb fruit, well, he's not going to be throwing bombs anymore. So we have to get into position. I'm a little too close because I'm having that take while it's not in his hand. Once again, we just inch ourselves closer, and we are once again perfectly in position. From here, it's just a matter of tapping the A button. Regarding a blood moon, if a blood moon does decide to happen at some point while you're doing this, it's not going to be respawning the enemies directly in your vicinity. While I was editing, I found out that was real wrong. Real wrong. Look at that. But there we go, great. That's how you're going to be able to get yourself 999 bomb arrows and all the other types of elemental arrows that you can AFK with a turbo controller. And I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.